Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show that is going to be taking a celebratory lap despite being totally wrong. I am your host, the voice of the tasteless. Oh, wait, my display name's gone. Anyways, I'll fix that. Voice of the tasteless, Ryan Knight. With me, as always, is the man, the myth, legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing today?
Doing great. It's a new week. I learned this week that there was no big events this weekend for wrestling. I also learned this week that there's nothing during the upcoming week. But then I remembered starting next weekend, there's only big events, only things that we have to talk about. So I think I could get over it a little bit. But I'm happy to be here, happy to talk about whatever the hell we're talking about. And this should be a good episode as always.
Yeah, we obviously, we had the finals of two Japanese tournaments, and then beyond that, there wasn't really much to review for this show. But like you said, we are now at the precipice of I think a major show every week for the next month and a half, maybe 2 months. I think it stretches into May.
I know all the way to the 27th is the Stardom show, and then before that's Dynasty, and if you're into TNA, Rebellion. And then the week before that is Windy City Riot and things like that.
That is a little show called WrestleMania. A week,
a
not really a major show, but the week after the Stardom All-Star Grand Kingdom is WWE Backlash in May 4th. So it is going to be Star Wars themed, of course.
Sure.
But I'm sure that's going to be a major show like WrestleMania, but it's WWE. And yeah, that's as far out as I got.
This is my lightsaber.
Is that an Apple Pencil?
Sure is. Doesn't work. So it has to be useful for something.
Oh, geez. My wife has the same issues where it's is it the little? Do you constantly lose the little charging extension gimmick?
This thing? No, it's the original. So it's ass.
Oh, I see. Oh, it's even worse.
Yeah, it's 10 times worse.
Oh,
ass. It's capital ASS ass.
Well, perfect.
What better way? Radio, everyone.
That's Ring Post Radio, everybody. We got a show for you today. New Japan Cup Finals, Stardom Cinderella Tournament Finals. What we'll be talking about, of course. We'll be reviewing those shows. We'll be previewing. All Japan's got a big time show on 3:30. And CMLL also has a big time show. So talking Japan and Mexico all day today.
The biggest time show, I'd argue.
For CMLL? Yeah.
It's gigantic. And they added another match this week that made it bigger.
Yeah, the tournament, the sort of
final.
Yeah, the name tournament of the show. I forgot. I don't know how to pronounce it. We'll get to that, I guess, when we preview it. But yeah, we had another finals.
I can't wait for you to try to say things. This is gonna be
but of course, we got a bunch of news. So I think we start off with said news. Now, for our live listeners, you may be wondering why we started late. What if I told you there's two reasons? That was one, and of course, our classic image that we started with this episode was reason number two.
Graphic design is my passion.
That's why he's got the Apple Pencil. Motor City Machine Guns. According to PW Insider, we kind of heard this rumor a little bit, but it was confirmed from PW Insider Mike Johnson that Motor City Machine Guns are finishing up in TNA. The report being that they had a roster sent off backstage at the end of their TNA taping in Philly in the 2300 Arena. This taping will finish out in April. We heard earlier this week, I believe, that Motor City Machine Guns contracts were going to end in April with TNA. This obviously does not mean that they aren't going to come back, but there's a lot of hints leading to the idea that they are going. One, I think, big hint of that is the new TNA. We talked about the new management of TNA and how, they've been spending money, saving money, and where are they going to save all this money if they were complaining about spending money? Well, it looks like one thing they might be doing is that apparently they're changing up the contract structures in TNA and going more towards pay per date deals than actual contracts. That being said, they did sign contracts of Hammerstone and Alexander before we got that news. Did they sign paper date deals? I don't know. But at the very least, that is happening. That news is coming out the same week we're getting this news. So you have to think that they're in some way related. What is your sort of reaction to sort of this new shakeup in the contracts for TNA? And what do you think overall how this affects Motor City Machine Guns? Do you think they're leaving? Do you think they're staying? What do you think's going to happen?
We should have all known that when it switched back to TNA, it was gonna just be an absolute failure. We should have known. We should have known. There was writing on the wall. When those 3 letters pop back up, this company just starts getting in its own way. And there couldn't be getting in your own way more than Motor City Machine Guns leaving this company. The heart and soul of TNA in many ways. Gone. And the beauty, I guess the beauty of it is, right? You know, they already have indie dates for the Rebellion show, right? They already had them planned. So I'm just ready for that week sometime, whether it be a different company's pay-per-view or maybe a different company's TV show. You know, new tag champs were just crowned at the end of a tournament, and it just makes too much sense. It just makes too much sense that the Motor City Machine Guns roll on in and start up a new feud with, I don't know, maybe the Young Bucks. Maybe ever hear of them? I couldn't be more sure that as a result of TNA being numb when it comes to these contracts, that Motor City Machine Guns are making their way to AEW. And I would argue that the 4 signings of Monet, Ospreay, Okada, and Motor City is about as good as you get, because that way you fill every single thing you needed to. You have top star in the women's division, top babyface, top heel, and a top tag team. It doesn't get better than that. It doesn't. And Motor City Machine Guns, listen, I really, they were one of the reasons I was okay with watching TNA most of the time for this show. I'm going to be 10 times happier watching them wrestle some of the best tag teams in the world in AEW, because while there has not been a report that they're going there, I think they have to go there, because it's time that one of the best tag teams in the world show that they're one of the best tag teams in the world.
Yeah. So the taping, obviously, in Philadelphia, the final TV appearance will air in April. I have to presume that would be on the 18th, would be that date, because that would be the last Impact, or sorry, yes, TNA Impact, I guess is the name of the television day before. Was it not Revolution? What's their show called? Rebellion show on the 20th. And of course, like you mentioned, Dynasty the very next day, with presumably the finals of that tournament. That'd be pretty big. I think you're right. I think it's pretty much laid out there that they have an opening in both of their contracts right now. They're getting Alex Shelley is currently getting trademarks for a bunch of the Motor City Machine Guns vernacular, I guess. To me, it screams that they are picking up all the stuff and moving somewhere else. That kind of stinks, obviously, for TNA. Like you said, for the past several months, they've been building the entire company around the Motor City Machine Guns, with X Division champion Chris Sabin, with world champion Alex Shelley. Even then, you had Chris Sabin for the past couple of years being the sort of, let's say, Fit Finley of the women's division. Sort of producer of the women's division there, which to my knowledge, I think probably be shifted over to someone like a Gail Kim because she's also working a lot behind the scenes as well. But yeah, it's that in itself would be a big loss for TNA, just the Chris Sabin of all. But losing both of the guys, someone that they've built the company around for the past several months, creatively is going to hurt for sure. So then it's like now we have, like you said, we already have a new TNA, and now post Rebellion, we're going to have an even newer TNA with, I don't know, no Motor City Machine Guns, maybe probably Nick Nemeth on top, which, you know, some people will be, of course, okay.
Hey now. If there's
Hey, over
one
Moose,
good
I'm saying
thing,
that's a good thing. And then you have these new per date appearances that, if anything, that might mean people are going to leave the company because they're not getting guaranteed money contract stuff, which is, you know, I get that. But also could mean that we get more like random people popping in for spots, you know? Like I saw, like Tracy Williams popped in for this taping. So, you know, it's something that it might give more television opportunity to younger indie stars, but overall, TNA as a company is going to get a lot cheaper.
Yeah. You know who's really good friends with the Motor City Machine Guns?
Oh, who is that?
Kazuchika Okada,
Hmm.
as well as the Young Bucks. There's like almost a locked in feud. I wonder who would be their singles guy though to face Okada. Yeah, that's an interesting conversation. You know, kind of looking at the landscape of who makes sense post, you know, assuming it's going to be Pac at Dynasty. So we can assume
as part of the Motor City Machine Guns.
nah, he's got the triangle or whatever still. So there's just a lot of guys I think that you could just pair up with them as a cohesive trio. I would go like, I don't know, like Shibata or something, or Kyle O'Reilly maybe. I know Kyle O'Reilly's all about doing it himself and stuff, but like Kyle O'Reilly trying to take the belt from Okada would be cool, but he's probably fighting Roddy right before that.
I'm looking up Michigan wrestlers to see if, you know, continue on with the Michigan theme. You know, here's some actual Michigan wrestlers that could pop in and be teaming up with Motor City Machine Guns. Here we go. Ready?
Oh, it's Rob Van Dam. All right, sounds good.
Rob Van Dam is one. Another one. Preston Vance finally gets the call.
All right, throw the idea out the window. Get it out.
Sabu. Let's get Sabu back in.
Jesus. Sabu has maybe the greatest AEW appearance of all time. He took a table bump and then was never seen again.
This is someone that obviously is, other than Preston Vance, I think the only other person that works for the company. I guess Ruby Soho as well, but you know, Christopher Daniels. That's interesting.
I could see that start like that and it not go very well.
Yeah,
I could see Okada probably like squash Daniels on TV, and then they'll be like, "Ah, shit."
We need a new guy. We need Frankie Kazarian's back, baby.
But I will say, Motor City in AEW is like exactly what I want. Like, I know we're getting to a point now where it's like, you know, a company signs too many people, and then it's like, when do we start comparing them to what WWE did? But this is different because they haven't signed a tag team in a very long time. And you and me were talking about on the show, this is supposed to be the best tag team division in the world, right?
Yeah.
I always felt it was a little
weak.
incomplete. It's definitely been weak, but I always thought it was a little incomplete without Motor City. And I hope the Machine Guns do go there and they tear it up, because there's just some great matches, especially because obviously they're still very good, right? Like another couple years, you don't know where we are a couple of years down the line, but still now they're very good. And for the most part, they wrestled like the same 5 teams in TNA, if there's 5 teams, and they did the most they could. And more often than not, I think we walked away from TNA specials, and if they had a tag team match, it was one of, if not the best match on the show. So,
one bit from just last moment from this. PW Insider article, Shelly and Saban have long been TNA cornerstones, but as of 4/1, they will be free agents. So he's reporting that April 1st is when their contract is officially up. Now, I know we're talking about AEW, Scotty, but we can't also ignore other companies, like, for instance, a company that has a multi-man ladder match for tag titles at the grandest stage of them all. Obviously, this past several free agent signings, it's all been AEW. But maybe, just maybe, do you think Paul Levesque can finally pick up some free agent and have him pop up at WrestleMania?
No. And it's because the Machine Guns love taking indie dates.
Yeah.
That's a big thing for them. They've been
Especially
taking indie
Alex
dates
Shelley.
for the entire Alex Shelley's been taking indie dates since he came back to TNA consistently. He's been a world champion in multiple companies. So no, but I mean that would be a hell of a spot to debut him. It would be a hell of a spot to debut him. Here's the thing though, like I don't even mind that. That's not my preference. But like I don't even mind that because there's a lot of good tag teams in WWE that they've never wrestled. TNA, they wrestled the same 4 teams for the past 3 years or whatever, right? It was like it got old. So I just want them to wrestle new teams, but obviously I do expect it to be AEW. There's just too many friendships there and whatnot. And I think they would get the money that they probably deserve. And like Connor says in the chat, they'd probably start them in NXT.
Hey, totally plausible. Remember then when Kushida was in NXT, he had Alex Shelley come on for the
that's a good reminder. Pretty funny that Kushida and Kevin Knight are all of a sudden back in New Japan, starting starting very soon, as soon as the Motor City Machine Guns are leaving. I found that to be very funny. I mean, I know the Super Juniors is coming up and stuff now. By the way, I watched Kevin Knight the other night on TNA because Leon Slater made his debut, so I wanted to see the match.
Because it was against Kevin Knight, right?
Yeah, it was a 5-way match or something. It was really solid. But I'm watching this and I'm like, Kevin Knight is not a junior. I was like, this guy is huge now in a good way. Like he's unbelievable. And I'm hoping that Kevin Knight goes back to New Japan right now and just like takes on the role that is kind of wide open for foreigners, right? Like there's no one I think that's taken the mantle's new top foreigner. And I'm not saying Kevin Knight will instantly become that, but man, he's really good now. And he's impressive. So I'd love to see him get back in there and do some more. If he wants to do one more Best of Super Juniors and then pivot to the G1, I'm okay with that too. But this guy's a big dude. I don't know if he's really a junior anymore.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a bit, so I'm excited to see him pop up for Sakura Genesis.
Yep. They only bring him for the big show, of course.
Oh, baby. Well, that's a good transition from Kevin Knight, one LA Dojo boy, to another. Alex Coughlin, we've heard these rumors for a little bit now, if you're on, I guess, X, is that Alex Coughlin officially announces his retirement on Twitter. His quote is as such, "Yeah, I'm retired and it sucks. Now leave me the fuck alone. Actually, I have some merchant gear to sell, so don't just fuck off just yet." So yeah, Alex Coughlin officially basically announces his retirement. Like I said, this is sort of a rumor for the past month or so. I guess any thoughts on Alex Coughlin retiring from wrestling?
Obviously a shame that someone so young is retiring from pro wrestling, but obviously he is making the decision in good conscience. He's making the decision best for himself. So while it sucks, he's there. I don't know if it's like due to injury or something. We don't really know that much. We just kind of figured out while he's not around. Whatever it is, I wish him the best. Because you and me have been on the show many times and talked about Alex Coughlin and his potential. And I always thought the War Dogs limited it like extremely just because of like what we saw with him when he was doing like the Terminator type gimmick and like where he could have been. But either way, it's such a shame because I do think that he could have been a guy, like he could have been a guy for New Japan, but he's making this decision, or there's a decision being made one way or the other, and I wish him the best. I thought David Finlay actually cut a good promo, kind of alluding to it, and I hope whatever he has to do next in life, he enjoys it, because obviously he's given the past 6 years to this or something like that.
Yeah, since 2018.
So obviously it's not easy to make that switch.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we can't speculate either, but the fact of, his last New Japan match was this insanely violent steel cage match. I'm looking at his cage match. The next match after that, after the steel cage War Dogs match in New Beginning Osaka, a week later he had a no-ring death match against Casanova Valentine in New York. So I can't speculate, but based off of that stuff and based off of a guy, I mean, it could be anything. Obviously, he also had a tag match a couple days later, also in New York, and that was his last match as to date. So I can't speculate, but like that mixed with the fact that he's saying that I'm retired now and it sucks, then definitely makes me feel like it is a forced retirement than anything else.
Yeah. Good. I applaud him for. I applaud him for the way he announced it.
Yes, it's right in the line.
Fucking leave me alone.
I thought about it. He was a guy that, like, as this last run of the War Dogs, he sort of cemented himself as the dumbest, jockest wrestler to me. Because just like everything he was doing just was like so stupid in the name of cool,
Yeah.
That I turned around to liking him again, of just like turning around to be like, okay, this guy's so dumb, so jockey that it's cool now. Someone in the chat, Casanova Valentine is known for being a very safe deathmatch worker. I'm sure this is all good as well, but it's also wrestling. Like I said, his next match afterwards is a tag match. Maybe it just could be prolonged injuries acquired. He's not trained as a deathmatch wrestler, Alex Coughlin, so I can't imagine.
I'm gonna guess that cage match probably had no help.
Yeah, I that's what I'm assuming, is I don't think these things helped or attributed to any of his stuff. But talking about his like training, I mean, are these LA Dojo boys? We have Carl Fredericks in WWE now. Alex Coughlin now retired. Clark Connors nowhere to be seen. Seemingly, if the rumors to be leave like contract. Oh no, he's showing up in Sakura Genesis. Gabe Kidd was announced as a new contract. Weirdly enough, Gabe Kidd was announced as a new contract. Clark Connors not. That's weird. Yeah, all these. I think Kevin Knight, who signed to TNA, and now, wonder what's happening there. Going to New Japan for Sakura Genesis as well. These LA Dojo boys, they're all over the place, I guess. Not really. Didn't really. I don't know. Do you think it quite worked out? Because I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure for New Japan so far.
No, I don't think so.
You could
the
also
LA Dojo.
You could also count Gabe Kidd or Ren Narita as an LA Dojo boy, but I wouldn't. But continue. Sorry.
The LA Dojo will go down as a very interesting conversation when it's all said and done. Obviously, seeing what they ultimately become. It's weird, right? Because no one has necessarily had like this huge success yet in the company, and like you said, Carl Fredericks is gone. I didn't think he was all that good. Alex Coughlin now gone. It's still early because
Clark Connors probably losing the title at Sakura Genesis, and no announced contract for him, unlike Gabe Kidd.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
Not looking great. Not looking great, I'll say.
I think things could always change, but I surely would be shocked if Clark left at this point. But yeah, it's not looking great. Not great.
Speaking of retirements, over at West Coast Pro yesterday, I believe, Chigusa Nagayo reportedly retired, not just in America, but announced that it would be the final match of her career. So this is affecting her career in Japan, a career in America. So Chigusa Nagayo wrestled her final match. It was a 6-man tag match where she teamed up with Queen Amanada and somebody else. I don't remember. I had it in front of me.
I think it was Takumi Aroha.
Probably.
Probably.
I believe it was Takumi Aroha to take on
Masha
Slimovic, Sandra Moon, and Mio Momino.
Mio Momino, yeah.
And I believe Chigusa Nagayo got the win as part of her team. Thoughts on Chigusa Nagayo retiring?
Pretty sure she retired like 4 different times.
Yeah, no.
If this is it, because, you know, there's always the potential of one big event in Japan. I know she said it was her last, and I'm going to assume it was her last because she is older and you know, I'm sure the body can't do another big match or anything. But if it is her last,
debuted in 1980. She's currently 59 years old. So she's been wrestling for 24 years, I guess.
If it's her last, what an incredible
44
career,
years.
obviously.
Sorry, 44 years of wrestling. Continue.
One of the most important wrestlers in Japanese pro wrestling history. In wrestling history, ultimately, one half of the Crush Gals. This is a genuine legend, one of the greatest of all time. And if she is retiring at this West Coast show, then bravo to West Coast for having such a special moment in their ring. You know, it's weird because like she hasn't been in her prime days in about 2 decades. Over 2 decades at this stage, but she is someone that's so important to Joshi, so important to Japan, and so important to professional wrestling that you can only applaud her as she wraps it up once and for all. She's trained some great wrestlers as well that are some all-time or some current favorites. You know, May Sarah in Stardom, for example. I know a lot of people like myself love her. She was trained by Nagayo. So bravo to her. And hopefully, you know, she can wrap it up. I would like to think that this is it, but you know, wrestlers are wrestlers. I always say that too.
Yeah. They always have that bug in them. They always have that itch. Yeah, and we've obviously seen her the past couple years, a decade or years, I guess, of her moving more into that sort of backstage role of being sort of a trainer, obviously, but obviously helping out with other companies, not just Marvelous, but other Joshi companies in America, West Coast being one of them. So yeah, I imagine that she is taking the time off to no longer wrestle, but she is probably going to spend more time towards helping out these various American Joshi companies and helping out various Joshi companies in Japan proper.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think ultimately it's going to be pretty cool to see what she does moving forward, just because like, you know, she can offer so much knowledge and offer so much help, and she clearly wants to have a footing in the US in some form. That's why this West Coast Pro relationship has happened. So I'm always intrigued to see what she has up her sleeve. And she's good friends with Rossi Ogawa as well.
Interesting.
Just saying.
Speaking of new Joshi promotions, maybe this is unrelated, I don't know. But Stardom has officially announced the expiration of contracts for Utami Hayashishida, Julia, Mai Sakurai, Mirai, and Yuzuki. Kind of a little bit of a shock there for some people. Yuzuki there.
I think a lot of people had shocked on that one.
Yeah.
They're like, huh? Come again? The rookie? What?
As a resident Joshi scholar, I believe this is at Scott E Wrestling, said, Mai, Mirai, and Yuzuki wrap it up on March 31st. So what is that, next week? While Utami and Julia's final show will be April 12th at Corkin Hall. and they've been doing a lot of like send offs. I saw Donna Del Mundo got a little send off last night at a house show. They're doing a lot of send offs basically right now. Unsure if this is related at any capacity. Rossi Ogawa was interviewed by Tokyo Sports and asked, will these wrestlers leaving Stardom join your promotion? And his quote as a response was, you decide who to believe. That's it. I'm just recharging my energy. It won't take long to explode. Well, hold on.
What's
hold on. It won't take long to explode, Rossi. I don't like that. I don't like that whatsoever.
You know what's awesome about that first part of the quote? You decide who to believe. Like, everyone's like, what does this mean? Why is he being so cryptic? That is literally the Queen's Quest motto. Who just left? The Queen's Quest leader, Utami Hayashishita. Like, come on, people. That's the hint. Oh man. No, I'm happy this is finally out. Oh my god. I'm very happy that we have finally got here. I'm very happy that the world, we know who's leaving. I don't have to hear about it for the next month or anymore. 9 months down the road, let's have another conversation. But for now, we can chill out and we can calm the hell down. I'm not going to let people that want to hate on Rossi or doubt Rossi talk down how big of a get Utami is. Okay? We're not having that conversation right now. I watched her in a world title match this week, and I watched it and I said, man, she is just so many levels above. Like, that is how I watch Utami, and that is going to be his ace for his new company. My favorite part of this week was her saying, yeah, no, I said I was leaving in December. Yes. I was like, nah, I'm getting the hell out of here. The moment she heard a rumor, she was like, oh shit, all right, see ya.
I've been poached.
See ya. We don't use that word. We don't use that word. But it's tremendous for him. To me, he always needed one major star. And obviously, with Mayu out of the question for now, I always thought she was the biggest one to get. 25 years old, former world champion, just in the biggest and most important match in Stardom's history. Like, she is the big one, and he got her. And when you look at the rest of the crew, you have Mirai, who obviously he's loved very clearly. 2-time Cinderella winner, Goddess winner, Artist winner, Wonder Storm champion. That's going to be, I think that will work out very well for him. You have Julia, who, while she won't be around for a long time, anytime is big, and you get Julia versus Utami, which is a first time ever match.
I mean, that's a match you book for like show number 1 if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, that is the biggest match in Joshi, and he has it. Yes. For whatever show he wants.
Presumably.
All right. Yeah. Sure. And then let's see. My Sakurai, I think, is a fine undercard act. Like, you need those in your company.
Yep.
And she's over with crowds over there, so that's fine.
Yep.
But Yuzuki, this is the one, people. This is the one. You watch her. You watch her in her first 5 months of professional wrestling, and you say, oh, she's going to be a star. And she said, I'm going to go be a star for this new company that I have. Like, it is ballsy as a rookie to just be like, yep, I'm going to go there. But that is her decision, and he's going to make her a star because of it. Like, you and me have talked about on the show. There's few bookers better at making stars out of young talent.
Yeah.
I would argue he's maybe the best. We've seen it year after year after year after year. And I think he's going to do it again with her. I think she's going to be an absolute superstar. It's the second biggest get for him. And honestly, if we looked at the entire roster and who could have and who couldn't have went, she was always in the top half because of the potential she's already shown. So I'm very excited for what she brings to the table moving forward. And, her exit also opens up spots for the other rookies in Stardom to kind of stand out a little more, which, you have to look at it on the Stardom side too. They're going to be fine.
Yeah.
This was never about, oh no, is Stardom not going to be okay? They were always going to be okay. I've said it like 20 times on this show, said 50 times on my other shows. They were always going to be fine. But it's the part where can Rossi build something with a foundation, whatever foundation he gets. Yes, he got as good a foundation as I could have expected.
Yeah.
Truthfully, because I never expected everyone to leave at once. Not everyone could leave at once either. So this is about as good as it gets. And the Utami, Yuzuki, Mirai, Sakurai, Julia squad with whatever he also has on the outside, it's going to do him a lot of good for this new company that's surely supposed to start in the next few months.
Yeah, that Stardom squad that's leaving, that he is presumably picking up, that is a great start. The question is obviously of who else is he able to work with and get
Sure.
from outside Joshis, or even
Absolutely.
even international. That he's obviously not against getting international wrestlers as well. When I say international wrestlers, of course I'm talking about no name wrestlers you've never heard of coming into Stardom, because he builds up stars.
That
So
Mariah May worked out pretty well.
Yeah. So it will be a question of who else comes along with him. These obviously the big names coming out of Stardom. There's obviously some freelancers that work with Stardom that he's probably going to bring in as well, potentially. And then obviously it's the rest of the Joshi scene that he will probably attempt to scoop up. Are they signing to contracts? Are they going to be date deals? Who the heck knows? He's obviously got money, but who the heck knows if it's going to be anything more or less than that. He's already we're already seeing some inklings of sort of behind the scenes pickups as well, I've noticed, or at least the rumors online are. So it's starting to come together, folks. This new Joshi promotion.
He's always had a great usage of not foreigners, freelancers through his time here. So essentially, the way I look at this is he's essentially starting his so when he started Stardom, he started with Yusuke Aikawa, who was a model outside of wrestling, brand new, as well as Nanai Takahashi as like his vet. He's instead starting his new company with Io Shirai instead. That's what Utami is for him at this point of her career. That's where she is. That's pretty good. I don't know if people know. That's pretty good. And he has relationships all around the scene. So he's going to have a roster. He's going to have some interesting cards. And Julia's been teasing a match for the past how many months against Sari. I would think he would probably be the one to book that at this stage of the game. He's going to get as many big matches out of Julia he can before she heads off to WWE. So, it's going to be interesting. This is the way I look at it. First year or 2024, everything's like, all right, let's see what we have here. Let's build a foundation. And then it's 2025, because this is how I think with the Stardom wrestlers too. I think anyone that necessarily didn't take the leap that maybe could have is smart, because you kind of just want to see what happens, right? Take another year of getting paid. And then when the time comes around, your contract comes up. If that looks appealing and there's a success there, which I'm sure there will be. Oh, maybe I'm not being fulfilled here. Maybe I want to go there. And it's gonna be a hell of a 2025, I think. As much as people want it to all end right now, like all the who's gonna move, it doesn't end right now. But for now, it's over for this year, I'm guessing. And that's okay, because now we can move on. And there's going to be a second promotion that's very much worth talking about.
Yeah, and we don't want to start the tribalism, obviously, of Rossi versus Stardom here. But it's interesting, all the wrestlers that are like choosing to stay in Stardom. Obviously, like you said, I think a guaranteed money, I assume, is how the contracts work. is pretty nice to stick around. And not only that, but we are obviously seeing changes already happening in Stardom. They're working more on live shows on the Stardom World a streamer for their house show just this past weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Was that one? There is also obviously a connection with AEW, and more Western expansion for Stardom is probably on the books. So you have to imagine of not only all these people who are staying going to get guaranteed money, but they are going to get more eyes on them through more fan base. So ideally, there's a potential growth of Stardom, for lack of a better word, for a lot of these people. We just saw Mina Shirakawa pop up in Ring of Honor. So, there is a potential there for these people to become bigger stars and make more money. And that way, when maybe their contracts come up, now maybe, and maybe hopefully Rossi's company can be more established at that point. Maybe they can have some sort of bidding war between the two. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Sure would be.
And like we said, that'll be interesting for everybody. Two potentially high ranking Joshi companies in a world where it's kind of just been one for a very long time.
I mean, the thing is, TJPW, for anyone that's listening and doesn't want to hurt me, TJPW fits its own niche, right? They have their own niche. They have been the second, but in terms of this is the first time Rossi is not going to be number one in a very long time.
Yes.
And that is the chip on his shoulder. And that is the excitement, I think, that comes with it. And again, that's why when you're starting with Utami, starting with Yuzuki, starting with whoever else is coming on the way, it's exciting to see what he has planned, because it's pretty apparent, I think, now that this is not a just happening sort of thing. Like, there's a lot of care that's already gone into this, so it's going to be something to watch. And as a fan of Joshi, I'm very excited for there to be multiple promotions where I think a lot of people can get work as well. One of the big problems in Joshi of the past couple of years is that if you're not in Stardom, because there's a lot of talent that's not in Stardom. If you're not in Stardom, it's just kind of like, hope I see you wrestle eventually, someday, somewhere, And I think this is going to be a really good way to get some really great wrestlers on the scene, more eyes if they want to work with one or the other, because obviously Stardom is also in a signing phase, as they often are around this time of year. They signed Saori Anoa already, so for a year, but it's still a signing. And I think that's important to follow. I think there's going to be signings on both sides, or maybe not full-on signings for Rossi, but agreements that has some cool wrestlers pop up. And yeah, that's the excitement of the next couple months, now that we've gotten past the who's leaving part of it.
Yes. Well, speaking of, it turns out Rossi is not the only one that can maybe make new stars. Stardom had their big hand in it, I think, during the Cinderella tournament by having the official winner of the Cinderella tournament this past Wednesday being Hanan, defeating Ami Sourei, and of course Ruaka in the semifinals. Ami Sourei defeating Azame in the semifinals. Hanan officially getting the big time push over here.
You got to go all in. And I have been the one that I was asked a question a few months ago. It was like, you have to pick one, like rank them in order of like who's most important or like biggest future out of these five. It was Suzu, Hanan, Starlight Kid, Azumi, and Mei Sarah, because they're all around the same age. They're all very young, very talented. And
can I give you my answer real quickly?
Yeah, again.
I would be probably
for the future, by the way, not right now.
Yes, I would probably be 50-50 on Hanan and Suzuki.
Yeah, that's where I was. It
But
didn't really matter after that for me, truthfully.
Yeah, I'm probably 50-50 on the two of them. But I would probably lean Hanan because she has I think potential. I mean, we talked about this during her Future of Stardom title reign, that she
Yeah.
has potential like ace energy in
Yeah.
her.
Big time.
Not to say Suzu doesn't, but I think Hana just has a little bit more. So that would be
Right.
my answer. But continue with what you're
Yeah.
saying.
So that was I was saying how like those two were at the top, and I couldn't pick which one. And it's clear that Stardom sees that. And you essentially have the next 9 months to a year to prove it. It's like we want to keep certain people. And out of those 5, I do expect at least one to eventually leave. I really do, because like that is gonna be tough for one of them. It's gonna be tough for one of them to stand out. And it's gonna be interesting to see like who they care about more than the others and what matters most to them when contract time does come up. But I do think one of them eventually leaves. But Hanen's the one,
Yeah.
19 years old, but screams future ace.
Yeah.
Is just getting better and better. The 5-star to now has been like such clear improvement, and she's still like not even close to reaching her full potential.
Hmm.
And I think they made the right decision to just go all the way with her with the Cinderella, because now you're like, all right, this is it. We believe in you. Stay here, please. It's
Yes.
like that kind of thing. And I think that could be a reason why Yuzuki was like, all right, listen, I'm in stars with her, and like, all right, there's limits here. They're the same age, and like
Hmm.
Yuzuki obviously started a lot later, years later than Hanan. So I think there's a conversation for that too. But it's the smartest move. They built the entire tournament around Hana.
Yeah.
There was not a single thing in that tournament that was like, oh, this is about this wrestler. No, it's about her, and everyone else just is falling into place. And you put Azumi in the semifinals and things like that. It's like, hey, we'll give you this. That good enough? I don't know. We'll see. But obviously happy for her, because big title match, probably at their biggest show of the year. It's not a bad feather in the cap. She doesn't need to win. She just needs to show out.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to that, I think, a lot more also when we talk about the New Japan Cup, because
Yes.
Bushiroad Company is doing similar aesthetics of needing to push new young stars. Obviously, Stardom in the past couple months or so have taken a lot of hits, and with this exodus of wrestlers leaving, they're taking more hits, and they'll be taking hits throughout the year probably. They need to a great way to withstand a lot of those hits is what every single other company needs to do to experience new boom periods, and that is push young, sort of unseen stars. And here's the thing, right? Obviously, Azumi, Starlight Kid, I think those are also great stars, but I'm not thinking of them as the future because we've seen them in Stardom for as long as I can remember. Hanan
Yeah.
is still very new and has a lot of potential to be pushed strong and hard. And I think obviously what the Cinderella tournament was meant to do, as you already said, was to make a new star in this company, a star that they will need immediately because they got 5 people leaving. So it worked well timed for them. 6-star in the chat. Yuzuki going to Ross Academy because Mayu's headed that way after a movie contract. Was that the report I saw this past week as well, that Yuzuki was the one that attempted to audition for the Mayu movie?
No, that was different wrestler.
That was a different wrestler. I saw that and I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah. I do think 6 is right about Yuzuki. Get out while you are ahead if you want to be with Mayu, essentially. But I think you're right. And the thing with Azumi and Starlight Kid is one of them will very much benefit from leaving. Like in a big way, because I think there's obviously the connection. They've been with Rossi for years now. I mean, Azumi was for a decade of her life, which is half. But like you said, Anand is someone who has more untapped potential. And you're gonna want anyone, truthfully, of that 5.
Yeah,
But
Suzu is also a person that you need to push. She's just been pushed a little bit sooner last year,
which was by Rossi, who wanted her to
Yes,
be her to be World of Stardom champion.
Which was notably not by Stardom, but by Rossi himself.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
People should focus on the April contract expirations. The immediate figure Act Rossi and Stardom will continue to change and bring out the best of each other over the next few years. That is true. And
Also,
that's very important. We live in an era that is about divide and having to pick a side for some reason in pro wrestling, right? AEW and WWE have really pushed that home. You don't have to pick a side with the Joshi. Like, you don't have to. No one's telling you to. I know I'm not. I'm going to have fun watching both. I'm going to talk about both. It gives me more content, if anything, which I'm appreciative of.
Yeah.
You don't have to pick sides. I know everyone's going to pick sides, but you don't have to pick sides.
Yes. In like you, especially like in Joshi, because even in across, as big as Stardom has gotten the past couple of years, it's still very much a niche product in the world of professional wrestling. It would be like, for as much of a comparison I can make, it would be like if you pick sides between like the NW, not the TNA and MLW. It's like, no, why would I pick sides between the two? Because they're incredibly small still. Stardom, Tokyo Joshi Pro, whatever this Rossi thing is going to be, all of them still need to grow and still become bigger companies, because right now they're still, there's still a niche of Japanese wrestling, and Stardom was just breaking into like being a number 2. So it's it's going to take time, and then Stardom's going to probably drop a little. Well, they're going to drop a little bit. No, not All Japan aren't doing too hot, but
they already have, to be fair.
Yeah, they're going to drop a little bit, obviously, but I'm sure they're going to recover. And I think Hanan, like I stated, talking about the Cinderella tournament, I think Hanan is a person that you push immediately to potentially get that next big pop. Now, does it come? That's going to be looking at attendance and looking at all this other stuff to see if that actually does hold to be true. Is she able to make? Are they able to make a new start of Hanan? I guess time will tell.
Yeah. She has a lot more leeway because she won't be champion, presumably, immediately. But these are the steps to get there,
Yeah.
These are the steps to get there.
She's challenging, who's she challenged for the World of Stardom, right?
She's going to do Wonder, so she'll face Saori. Probably at Buntai. With Saori signing, the rush to make it Natsupoi is not as necessary now, because originally she wasn't signed, and I was like, all right, well, we kind of got to get to this because you don't want. But now that she's signed, it changes a little bit. So I think you could just put Hanan on the US show, because she's not going to be. Neither of them are on the US show.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like they have announced all of their crew for that, featuring Mariah May. So we'll wait and see. But again, I applaud Stardom for what they did with Hanan here. This is the right. This is what you needed to do with the Cinderella. You needed to push someone new. That's the whole purpose of the tournament, in my opinion. So good start for them. It was a winning week for both sides.
Yes.
This is why you shouldn't be picking a side.
Yeah. I totally agree. Well, speaking of a different side of Bushi Road, let's talk about the New Japan Cup Finals, also happening the same day, over in New Japan. Yes, that's right. I picked Evil to go all the way, but I don't care. I was wrong. Yota Tsuji is my actual guy, and if you're listening to the show, you know how much I love Yota Tsuji.
You pulled the me with Hanan. I refused to pick her in actual brackets.
Because I was terrified that you weren't going to actually do anything with Yota Tsuji.
Exactly. And you did it with Big Suge, and look at where we are now. On top, baby!
Yeah. I'm not getting my victory lap of Evil.
This is a better victory lap.
But this is a better one because this is a guy I actually want to win. When I picked Evil, I was saying, let it be clear, I don't want this. Yota Tsuji is what I want. They've had him get the win, beat Evil. beat Hiroki Goto, who made it to the finals, who in a fantastic finals match, by the way. And now they have Yoda Same thing that we were talking with Hanan with in Stardom. Yoda Tsuji, a new upcoming star that hasn't been exposed that much. They've been actively pushing him, and they've now really heated him up in the past couple months. Now he's going off to Sakura Genesis to face Tetsuya Naito. That being said, we obviously talked about this.
Yeah.
Don't think he is probably winning that match at Sakura Genesis, seeing that it is before Winnie City Riot against John Moxley. But, this is what you need to do, is get these guys accolades right now. And him winning the New Japan Cup, probably losing against Naito. And then I guess the question is there. I assume, what would be after Sakura Genesis? Dominion, probably?
Sakura no, I think Dontaku still exists.
Would it be Dontaku? Either way, I think it's either Dontaku or Dominion. He's probably going to be challenged.
Wrestling World in Taiwan.
Oh, whatever.
Yes, Dontaku.
He will probably be challenging Evil for that Never Openweight title since he did beat Evil in the tournament. Does Evil get his win back? I pray to God not. Let's just have Yoda Tsuji win a belt, and I think that would be a good way to continue that push. It would be detrimental to his push for him to lose Evil in the Never Openweight title.
New Japan, Gato. You've done something right for once. Congratulations. Yota Tsuji.
My guy.
Thank you for having a star power aura-like feeling to you that was undeniable even for the worst booker in wrestling. It's about goddamn time.
I don't think he's the worst booker in wrestling. Billy Corgan exists, but continue.
Well, worst booker that I actually, care for.
Follow.
Yeah. When it comes to Big Suge, right? He is someone who is clearly special. He has the talent, he has the skill set, he has the aura of him. You just gotta let him win. And holy shit, they let him win. The moment that David Finlay got sick and had to miss the tournament or whatever that happened to him, it was clear who should have won. Yeah. Like, it was extra clear who should be winning this out of the remaining people. And beating Hiroki Goto was actually perfect because, listen, folks, Hiroki Goto may not be the guy he was a decade ago, but Hiroki Goto's still kicking, baby. I saw him in this match still have that life. This match was great. Like, I don't want to just talk about the winner. The match was great. Yes. I walked away from this and I was like, yes, this is what New Japan is. And Hiroki Goto, my guy, I know you could do this whenever you want now. So I'm not going to let you just chill and shit. Like, you shouldn't just be in tag teams anymore. You still got this dog in you. And you made a good point. This could have been the last great Goto appearance because how many big spots is he going to get moving forward? Yeah. You look at this roster, it should be more.
I agree.
Especially after this performance.
Yeah. Sorry, Yoshihashi, but we need Goto right now.
Yoshihashi's fun. Like, Yoshihashi could be a singles match from time to time for like the Never. I wouldn't mind that, right? But he is too good to just be stuck in tag team wrestling again and again and again and again and again and again. But back to Tsuji. I couldn't be more excited for him and Naito. That is so un-New Japan. Obviously, like faction guy versus faction guy in a title match.
Yep.
They don't like doing that. But it's what should be happening. It's the right way to go. It makes Sakura Genesis so exciting. You and me talked about it last week, 2 weeks ago, where we were like, Sakura Genesis is on WrestleMania weekend. Are you kidding me? Like, another show that's probably going to be like whatever.
Yeah.
It's not whatever anymore.
Yeah. We'll talk about that at preview next week, but they've loaded up that show.
They have. Okada's coming. I'm just kidding.
John Moxley's coming in for that
John
show.
Moxley is coming in, which is exciting. It'll be John Moxley and Jack Perry in the same match. Woohoo. But yeah, I'm just so happy for Tsuji.
Yeah, that match with Goto I thought was fantastic. Like you said, Goto can still go. I will say the moment
he can still Goto.
he can still Goto. The moment Goto threw out his hands in the Rainmaker pose and then hit the Rainmaker, I texted you as it was happening, hopped out of my chair and was like, "What? Let's go, baby!" I was very excited about that. And then yeah, Yota Tsuji getting the win, and then turning that finish over into the spear to get that win is huge. I really enjoyed it. I thought he had a great run in this cup. Obviously, beating Cobb in a really good match, beating El Fantasma in a pretty good match. Facing Ren Narita.
Evil.
Ren Narita was more for that heat to prep up for the Evil match, to come down to the Evil match, getting the win over Evil. I guess, there's the question here of, I think the same thing applies to this New Japan Cup, right? Where we talked about Hanan and Cinderella tournament, that tournament sort of being built around here. I think it's extremely fair to say that this tournament was built around Yota Tsuji. In the same sort of vein. The only difference, I think, well, I guess maybe you have a different take on it as well, is at least with the New Japan Cup, did the ends justify the means of seeing a lot of House of Torture nonsense on the whole right side, just so Yota Tsuji become a bigger star by overcoming House of Torture to end up winning the whole thing? Similar with, you're starting to see a little bit of, as you noted online, Oedo Tai, and having Hanan have to go through a little bit of the Oedo Tai to get to the finals. Is there an ends justifying the means element? Was it worth going through House of Torture to get this moment?
Yes and no. Yes, in that I think it worked perfectly. No, that you didn't have to do it 7 different ways. Like every single show was House of Torture someone. So like it became overkill. If it was just Ren Narita and Evil, or just Evil and Jungle Boy, maybe it's fine, but it was like every show, and it's like, but it worked. So what do I know? The here's the reality, folks. The attendance is up.
Yeah.
We can say all we want about New Japan right now.
It's dying. They lose all their top stars.
Attendance is higher now than it was a year ago.
Yeah.
That's the Naito as champion helps. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But
sure.
People there are watching this House of Torture stuff, and they invest their time into it because they're fans of New Japan, and they got the payoff. I loved the Tsuji Evil match. I know most people are like, oh, there's so much interference. No, that's what it's all about, though.
It was really good. We're the pro House of Torture podcast over here. It's the heat. It's the heat, and the heat. If you didn't have the House of Torture heat, you wouldn't have had as big of an overcoming moment for Yota Tsuji.
And it's better because it's on the final, right?
Yes.
It's the semifinal. You're not wasting the final. You still have a great match. Was it still overkill? Yes.
And also, granted, David Finlay could have easily been in that final. Who knows what would happen with him being
very likely? I think maybe would have been in the final, because I think his story would have been interesting had he lost the New Japan Cup 2nd year in a row. But who cares? Yota Tsuji won. That's all that matters. Hiroki Goto, shout out to that. Shout out to the guy. This match was great. I feel so much better about New Japan right now than I did a week ago. Yeah. It's like, because did the right thing.
You could also look at the future of Yota Tsuji and what he has prepped. World title match of Naito. He's probably losing that one, but world title match of Naito, when he had probably the best title match in Sonata's reign, right? Which was
not including Okada.
That's fair.
I liked Naito match a lot, but if we're talking just the reign part, like where Sonata wins,
yes,
yeah, I mean, how many matches did he even have?
You look up,
Was it him, Jack Perry, and Evil? Yeah, I think, congratulations, Suji.
So he's facing Naito now. Like I said, I think they're easily going to set up probably a wrestling Dontaku match, maybe never open weight title where he maybe defeats
Evil.
Evil.
Against Hiromu.
But you know what would also be interesting is who knows how long David Finlay comes back. You now have a match that could potentially set up David Finlay versus Yota Tsuji, right? And if that's for the Never, hey, that would also probably be a good spot for David Finlay to be back in the Never division.
I'm very interested to see how Naito and Tsuji goes.
I suspect it to be good. I
know it's going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm not really worried about that part of it. I'm just worrying, I'm wondering, because obviously the last 2 times someone has won the New Japan Cup and faced Tetsuya Naito in his own group, it does not go well for the faction. I don't think Tsuji's leaving, but I think Shingo should.
Well, yeah, we talked about this a little bit about, obviously part of this story that they've been built up in the Cup is sort of friction between Shingo and Tsuji specifically. And obviously when it came to the Evil match that sort of came together where,
Shingo in the jeans, baby.
Hiromu and Bushi come to save Yota Tsuji. They aren't able to make the save over House of Torture. Shingo comes out finally, and he's the change there that can help Yota Tsuji get the win. So they've built up friction. They gave a little bit of that, but does that friction still exist? You and I have talked about I don't know necessarily if Yota Tsuji leaving the faction is a fully great idea. If they have him lead a faction, that would be very fascinating. But you and I are obviously more interested in the idea of Shingo leaving that faction so that he can face the likes of Naito and Yota Tsuji and have all these other guys. We talked about, hey, a faction that's leaderless right now, Chaos. Shingo's right there, baby. I think Shingo and Chaos would be very fun for me.
Yeah, that's what I want. I think that'd be great. Him, Goto, Yoshihashi. What a trio.
Yeah.
That'd actually be sick. I'm not going to lie to you. Ishii. Pretty sick.
Because they're missing a world title contender. And Shingo can be that. And Yota Tsuji.
I just watched Hiroki Goto cook.
Great point. Great point. I should say, putting Hiroki Goto in a title match. I don't know if he's winning. Shingo is definitely could be winning a world title match. Same thing with Yota Tsuji. You can put him in a world title match, like I'm saying, if Naito match coming up, Sakura Genesis. I don't think he's winning. If he's leading a faction, I want a guy that is a probable world champion, and Shingo could be that for Chaos.
If you had Hiroki Goto, Jesus Christ, I'm stuck on Goto right now. If you had Shingo Takagi leave, become the leader of Chaos, he would be my first pick to win the G1. If that happened, which, saying it out loud, I really want that to happen now. I know, like everyone talks about Zach, and I get it.
Hey, but give me that final.
Yeah, give me 2 options. Would that be so bad? Giving me 2 options that I enjoy? Yeah. No. That would be a great final. Oh, the drama, the excitement. Yes, I want it.
Yeah,
I want it. Keep listening to us, please. Tsuji on top. Sakura Genesis. Hell of a show.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I mean, besides the main event. I don't remember what else is on there. Moxley? Right. Moxley.
In a random ass tag.
Yeah, baby. It's a reasonable ass tag.
Yeah. It's a tag that makes sense.
It makes sense. I think that'll be a lot of fun. John Moxley having to deal with the House of Torture people. He'll just no-sell them all. Like, fuck you. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I hear you. I hope he gets hit in the cane with Yujiro. That's what I want. And that's Takahashi.
My favorite thing about John Moxley is he's disappeared from AEW TV, and everyone's like, "Where is he?" And he's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm going to Mexico and Japan the next couple of weeks." Like, more important things.
Heal up for a little bit, if you all don't mind. I got some things, big time shows. Windy City Riot, CMLL. I got some big time.
Let me take a few weeks off for once in my career. Huh? Is that okay? Not really, but sure.
Well, speaking of not really taking time off, and where's John Moxley going? Let's transition. This is the show of transitions. Everything we talk about, it gets set up for the next thing. This is turning into Scotty's excited music, by the way. CMLL has a major show happening this Friday in Arena Mexico. And I should state, fully sold out Arena Mexico here.
Oh my God, Mystico is gonna be in his element, people. He's gonna be on the ground getting his ass kicked by Moxley. He's gonna be like clapping, getting the crowd back into. Oh my God, it's gonna be. Oh my God, you don't understand how excited I am for this show. I think I need to subscribe to the YouTube thing so I can watch it live for a month because I do not want to miss this. Now, can you say the name of it, please?
Of course, the show is, of course, CMLL. Home Nahe a dos leyendas. Leyendas.
I think you did pretty good.
I think I did the best I could for a gringo. Totally sold out. We'll get the full number probably later, but as WrestleTix noted, for wrestling and boxing, it typically seats up to 16,500. So that is a big time show. Shit. So let's go through the card here.
Mystico does it again, baby.
Mexican National Tag Team title match. Magnus and Ruggiero versus Brillante Jr. and Neon.
Oh yeah, baby.
Brillante Jr. and Neon have been doing great stuff as well. So hey, put the titles on them. Neon is fantastic, by the way.
Despredadores. I watched a match with them from this week because I wanted to see like what we got here.
Yep.
Had a very good match on a Tuesday night Arena Mexico show. So I'm very amped for this match. There's a match missing on Cage Match, which I'm sure you'll add.
I will add. Well, let's talk about it right now because I do have it here.
It's very important.
It is the sort of tournament finals for the name event. Homenaje dos Leyendas is going to be basically it's a tag team tournament in CMLL. If you don't know, that is rivals teaming up together to go into this tournament. And the finals are set. They were set last Friday. The finals are going to be Mascara Dorada and Rocky Romero teaming up against Soberano Jr. and Atlantis Jr.
That's what it's all about. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
That's a really nice match right there.
Yeah, it sure is. It's gonna be a hell of a semi-main event. Those four are arguably, not counting Mystico, the most exciting wrestlers of CML this past year. And they're all in a showcase match on what's going to be the most watched CMLL show up until the anniversary this year. So it's awesome. And they're going to show out. It's going to be a sold out Arena Mexico. They're going to go crazy. They're going to do amazing things. It's going to be fantastic. God, I can't wait for this show. And we finally get to preview a CMLL show. We never get to do that.
I know. We're talking about it here, baby. So yeah, that is a really sexy tag match right there. Esfinge versus Zandukin Jr. for the Mexican National Light Heavyweight title match.
The Yosuji push.
the
friends with him.
The Parada Suji, if you will. And Zandukin Jr. This should be a good match. On Super Viennas, they Zandukin Jr. cut a little bit of a promo and really talked himself up. He was able to get the pin in a 6-man tag, I believe it was, on Esfinge with a Gotch style pile driver. So that is interesting as a preview for this match. Will he get the win, or we get classic booking, or he wins in the 6-man tag and loses here? We'll find out.
It's just a title in CMLL. It doesn't mean that much.
Exactly. CMLL World Light Heavyweight title match, El Barbaro Cavernario versus Averno.
This should be good. Cavernario is very good. And Averno is very good veteran.
Yes.
He's 47, but he can still go. So that should actually be a very solid match.
Yes, my hope here is that it is more of a showcase match for Cavernario.
He's excellent.
Yes, he's doing really well. We got a mask versus mask 4-way match.
This is going to be bad.
Hierafito versus Pequeño Olímpico versus Angelito versus Icario.
Acero, Caro. Sure. Listen, you do
hard
better than
C
I
or
would.
soft C. I don't know.
Either way, they're all old, and it's a mass versus mass 4-way, so I'm sure it won't be amazing.
And these are all minis, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
I think so.
I think they are.
5'2", 5'1",
5'2".
3. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe they're all minis. I mean, yeah, Pequeno is that is, I believe, little in
Yes.
Spanish.
I mean, it's a fun. I'm sure this will open the show or something. So
yeah, this should be, and we're gonna get it's a mask versus a mask match, so it has a little bit of juice, you know.
Yeah, it's not one of like the big staples of the show, but it's got the mask versus mask, like you said, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, there's stuff on the line, so that makes
they're all like 40 or higher, by the way,
Yes.
age wise. So
yes, it's an old man mini lucha. Yeah, here, Maz fan in the chat. Old man mini lucha brawl is a huge pop. Hey, that's where we're getting the old man mini luchas over here. We're also getting the rest.
Oh, are we gonna talk about Jack Perry, by the way?
Oh, we can. We probably have time.
Because someone asked about it, so we probably should.
Yeah, we have time. Best 2 out of 3 falls, 6-man tag team match here. Stephanie Vaquer, the newly crowned New Japan Strong Women's Champion, Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah, she already got her challenge, by the way.
Teaming up with Zuxis and Luvia, taking on La Catalina, which I believe La Catalina was the former NXT wrestler, Katrina Cortez. Tessa Blanchard, who's Stephanie Vaquer, and Tessa Blanchard has been feuding. Not great, but they've been feuding in CMLL, so there's stuff there. And AEW's Willow Nightingale.
Willow Nightingale, right? Within a 2-year span, is going to have wrestled in AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, Stardom, TJPW, CMLL. I think that's it of like notable crazy range, but that's insane.
Yeah, she's wrestled all over the globe.
Yeah, awesome for her. Obviously, she's and now she's getting in a feud with Mercedes Moné. Not a bad life to be living if you're Willow Nightingale.
Yeah, everyone wants a piece of Willow.
Oh, Impact. She was an Impact in 2022.
Oh,
against Deonna Purrazzo for the Ring of Honor Women's title.
Yes.
So there's another
Ring of Honor. I guess we can also put on that list. But
she did DDT as well. What the hell?
What? When did she do DDT?
2022. What a run! Shout out to Willow. This match should be fun. I think the women of CMLL always work hard, and they kind of get nasty. I watched the match 2 weeks ago. It was Vaquer, and I think it was the two that she's with in this match against La Catalina and the I don't remember who was with her, but they just kept beating the piss out of poor La Catalina. But Catalina still pinned Vaquer because they're setting up a big title match. So this should be a good way to follow that up.
Yeah, I saw that they did have Stephanie Vaquer and La Catalina had a best 2 out of 3 falls singles match that ended in disqualification in February.
Remember when I came on the show and I said Stephanie Vaquer is a star like a year?
Yes, like a year. When she was announced for New Japan, you said, "Oh yeah."
Boy, did I nail it! What a star! Awesome.
But yeah, that should be very solid. And of course, your main event, best 2 out of 3 falls 8-man tag team match on CMLL. You have Blue Panther, Mystico, Ultimo Guerrero, and Volador Jr. all teaming up against Blackpool Combat Club, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Jon Moxley, and the returning Wheeler Yuta. We assume. He still haven't seen him show up anywhere, but presumably he's on the show still.
Yeah. I don't know who you would fill in if he's not there.
I assume if he doesn't make it, they're going to drop Ultimo Guerrero. It would be my guess or something. Maybe Volador, but
I have a tough time thinking they'll drop anyone.
Yeah, I don't know.
But what matters is that they're going to need someone to take that La Mystica, baby! Oh my God. You don't understand. This is so exciting. For an 8-man tag, this is about as exciting an 8-man tag as I'm ever gonna watch. Obviously, the Blue Panther Danielson part.
Yep.
Obviously just Blackpool Combat Club in Arena, Mexico. They need to not bleed or like the match will just end. That's
Yep.
a very important rule. Mystico in his Mystico in a sold out Arena Mexico against the invading heels.
In the main event.
That's why I watch professional wrestling. Oh my God. It's gonna be magical. I have to watch the show live. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I have to watch this show live. This is one of those that it's like, because most of the time with CMLL, I watch it after the fact. I need to watch this live. I can't be missing this. This is it. This is the Mecca. This is everything. This is the show we've been waiting for. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Obviously, I think the CMLL team's winning.
Yeah.
Mystico ain't losing.
No, Mystico is not losing in his hometown, in his home arena, in his he's not. He's sticking in here. Well, how do we watch it? What is the way to watch the show?
So, everyone, thank you to the Lucha Blog who has perfectly mapped this out. So you go on over to CML's YouTube channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have a like a subscriber thing where you press join this channel. There's Super Estrella, there's Campeon Mundial, which that one lets you watch all the live I believe that lets you watch all the live Super Viernes.
Yes.
As they happen. There's also a Fan Lienda, which also lets you watch some other special stuff like Arena Coliseo and stuff like that. But you're gonna want to watch the $24.99 one, which is essentially paying $24.99 for a pay-per-view if you just subscribe for a month.
And that's
but
for all the
get more.
That's all the super the Super Estrella perks as well, which are whatever. I have no idea what those are. It's all in Spanish, what I'm looking at. But yeah, all the Super Viernes, all the Friday big time shows are on the $24.99. Obviously, if you want the rest of the shows, I believe it's the $34.99 thing. But the Friday shows are on that $24.99 gimmick.
You also get it video on demand. So if you can't watch it right then, you can watch it right after or something like that, which is great. But this is the one you're gonna want to see.
Yes, this is the if you are dropping into CMLL, this is how you drop into CMLL, because as you can probably guess from our excitement, folks. Scotty, I think you would agree with me. Are we watching every single match on this show? Because I'm watching every single match. I'm even watching.
I'm watching every single match.
I'm watching the old man minis. Of course I am.
We're giving our first ever full show review of CMLL next week. By the way, that reminds me, we're recording Saturday night, so
next week
be there, yes. Folks. That will also be our WrestleMania preview. WrestleMania week. It'll be a big show. It'll be a big show. So you're gonna want to be there
Saturday afternoon, probably like 7 p.m. ish. Probably
that's nighttime. That is nighttime.
What did I say?
You said afternoon. I was like,
yeah, good point.
I was like, you said afternoon. I was like, huh? Come again? Yeah, Saturday night. Come before Collision starts, before the Colliders take over. Come join us. Have a little fun for 2.5 hours or so. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a big show. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and think it's gonna be 2 hours.
No, we're reviewing CMLL, previewing Stardom, American Dream, Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, NXT, WrestleMania Night 1, Night 2, any matches from WrestleMania weekend that we're going to talk about. Yep. Big time show.
Secure Genesis.
Secure Genesis. Oh my God. We got so much nonsense.
I just saw defeat in Ryan's face when I said Secure Genesis. He's like, God damn. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't have Secure Genesis on my calendar because they just announced it, right? 4/6. So I gotta put that on my calendar. But yeah, it's big time weekend. Big time weekend. Next week. But we'll obviously talk about that show next Saturday. Probably, I guess, at 6. We'll probably, based on how big it is, probably bleed into Collision, bleed into the 8 o'clock hour. But we'll get to that, I guess,
Saturday,
next week.
Saturday. Sorry.
We wanted to talk about Jack Perry. There was also All Japan that we're going to talk about, but we have a bunch of time left, so let's talk about Jack Perry a little bit. I believe it was Mavs fan in the chat that asked the question. Chat, we probably have a bunch of time to talk about Jack Perry and All Japan. If you have any questions about the world of professional wrestling, let us know. Put them in the chat right now if you're watching us live, whether it be on X or whether it be on YouTube. If you have any questions, put it in, because I think we might. Let's just take some. I think that's okay, Scotty. Let's just take some questions. We're basically doing it right now.
You already said it, so
I'm already asking for it. So if you have any questions, in the chat. Mass fan in the chat. Do Jack and TK have real beef, or is a scapegoat gimmick a work? Well, obviously the scapegoat gimmick is obviously a work. Is the reports that came out from both Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez, both of them, one of them, or none of them, is that all work? Do Jack Perry and TK have real heat? Have they apologized? Did he want to leave AEW? What is happening with all of this Jack Perry, Tony Khan, CM Punk adjacent drama?
You think CM Punk just sits at home and just smiles and when he reads it, like, this is so stupid. I did this.
On his phone and he's pressing a bunch of buttons on a wall.
He's got the Apple headphone thingy. You know, the new Apple.
Yes, the VR thing. Yes.
My thought process here is that I think they did, obviously, for reasons that I don't think need to be explained. And now
they did. What do you mean by they did?
Jack Perry and Tony Khan heat with one another.
So you're saying they have heat, is what you're saying?
I think they did, for sure. Like when it all happened, like Jack, as you and me talked about at the time, Jack Perry essentially knew exactly what he was doing when he said that. You knew he was like, oh, I'm on the biggest show of this company's history. Oh, I'm gonna do it, right? Like that's how I saw it. And now it has turned into a work, because that's how this company has worked, right? They've always turned controversy into works and on TV. And you know, my take
ears perked up. Controversy into what?
You know, my take is on all of this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jack Perry is doing this way better than MJF did.
Yeah,
I find it far more believable, because MJF is just talk. Oh, let me disappear. Jack Perry went to another company. Jack Perry joined a faction. Jack Perry has at least done all of this. I'm not sitting here and saying like I'm a humongous Jack Perry fan or anything, but I appreciate the dedication that this has gone to, where he is wrestling in a different company and is part of the most hated faction in professional wrestling. That is dedication. And if he's going to go with the scapegoat, then sure. And, eventually he's going to walk back into AEW, because I do think it's a work, and he's going to be a hated heel or beloved babyface, depending on who you talk to, because, not everyone likes CM Punk.
Yeah, I think part of so you're talking about the work part is the Brian Alvarez report on 2 days ago, March 22nd.
Which is my favorite thing ever, by the way. Jack Perry's just like, yeah, fuck TK.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's in storyline. According to Perry, he didn't hear from AEW head Tony Khan for 2 months following All In at London's Wembley Stadium. Perry said he never texted to say he was sorry and told Khan's lawyers he would not initiate first contact. Khan finally set up an in-person meeting before Full Gear in Los Angeles, where they discussed plans to bring him back last December. However, after Punk returned to WWE at Survivor Series in November, those plans were scrapped. Don't exactly know why they would be scrapped. Maybe because there would be more heat, I guess, on Jack Perry, which you think would be the good idea, but maybe you want to get away from that. I don't really know. Jack Perry wanted to work Wrestle Kingdom, but was unable to for logistical reasons. Then worked with Rocky Romero and Khan to set up his current New Japan run. At this point, as Brendan Alvarez says, Perry is still under AEW contract, but he was asked for his release, but was denied. There's still no plans to bring him back. Obviously, there are parts of that both line up and don't line up with Dave Meltzer's report. Not really a report, but just comments during Wrestling Observer Radio. But yeah, so I don't know. I think it's totally like, I think they're whether or not they were mad at each other or at least one-sided mad. I think Tony Khan probably has more reason to be mad at Jack Perry than the opposite. However way you slice it, I'm sure there was distance there, and they've obviously come back together since then to continue working together, and they are, continuing a little bit of the story of the scapegoat. So, I think obviously
I
time is all
appreciate what he's
tell.
doing.
Yeah, I'm fine with
I
it.
do.
I'm okay with this.
You and me have
story.
liked it, actually.
Mhm.
Like it's something that I think he can bring back to the US and really work to his favor. Like if he just, kind of like how the hell, like the best friends were part of Chaos. Like he can just
Yes.
stay part of House of Torture. He doesn't need to like leave them.
Yeah.
And it's the day that he brings them in that will make him the biggest heel in that company, because people are gonna be like, God damn it, this guy stinks. And it's
Well,
like,
I talked about
yeah.
already is like with John Moxley now being a part of this tag match at Sakura
Oh, yeah.
Genesis.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking we're getting some of House of Torture BCC nonsense at Forbidden Door. I've been talking about that for a little bit.
I could see Danielson be the one taken out of that because we're giving Danielson dream matches.
Sure. You're
right?
telling me Bryan Danielson's dream match is not against Evil? That's ridiculous.
I hope it is, actually.
That's my dream match.
But imagine the yeses when he's about to hit the knee and then dick to dick contact ruins it. And poor Walker Stewart's losing it because he's devastated. Shout out Walker. Walker's doing a great job. No, I just think I think this is great. I think it's actually working very well for all sides, because Jack Perry felt so dead in the water when he disappeared into the Crimea River Oblivion.
Yeah.
And now he just like, do I love him being Shota Umino? No, I do not. Do I think Shota Umino is going to beat him at Windy City Ride, so it probably won't matter? Yes, I do. But still getting him over. Like it's overall, he's going to come back, and if he brings House of Torture I think you keep him out until Forbidden Door.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how long you wait, because then he returns with the house. Oh man, that's good. That's good. I know people hate House of Torture. They're probably listening to us and be like, why do you think this is? It works for him. And the point of this is getting Jack Perry over.
Yes. In the back in the US. Get him over back in the US. I mean, we talked about it. Like, the heat was necessary for Yota Tsuji to have as much of a star-making performance in the tournament.
Did you see the promo that they did backstage?
Which one?
Jack Perry was like, you guys are like hated, and Evil's just looking at him like, huh? What are you talking about? Like, these guys don't look online. They don't give a shit.
Yeah. I like to imagine Evil in that moment with his hob was more like, well, no, we're loved. Everyone loves us.
What are you talking about? You hear those cheers? I do.
They're saying boo earns out there. They're not booing us.
Oh man. If people obviously Evil wasn't in the world title conversation or whatever these days, I think people would, like us, enjoy it a little more, because it's like, these guys are actually hilarious. Yeah. Like Ren Narita, funny guy these days. Show, hilarious. Show is the funniest because he's like, last year he clearly did not want to do this, and now that they're like, we're gonna give you the title, he's like, all right, I'm cracked again. Here we go.
I'm back in, baby.
But now they have a scapegoat. They got the scapegoat. Come on. Half of this is like me doing a bit. Half of this is not me doing a bit at the stage.
Oh, of course.
But
I like how you have to save yourself there a little bit. As we wait for more questions to come in, let's talk about this because it was still on our docket. All Japan show 3:30 as well. They have a bunch of they have a preview tag for Champion Carnival. They have a special junior tag and a bunch of other stuff, an actress girls match as well. They have an all ages tag team title match, electric explosion death match. I'm not watching that. Can't get me to watch that.
I just need you to know.
Got three title matches in the last bottom of the card, top of the card here that we'll talk about. But yes, go ahead.
My friend, I just need you to know that there was a with an actress girls show today,
Mhm.
right? At Cork and Hall. And do you want to know who was there selling merch of his own T-shirt?
I don't know.
Katsuhiko Nakajima.
Hey, look, I got a lot of these. I got all these Inoki quotes. I'm gonna offload these T-shirts. I'm gonna get these. I'm gonna make some money where I can. I gotta offload these under the wire.
He was just there. T-shirt.
Oh,
He's so
my world champ.
serious.
That's my world champ, baby. Top 3 title matches I wanted to talk about here. Junior heavyweight tag team, or not tag team, junior heavyweight title match. Rising Hayato defending for the first time after winning the title in this past month against Musashi in his first defense here. Rising Hayato. Any thoughts about? Did you watch the Rising Hayato Dan Tamura match?
Yeah, Rising Hayato rules.
Mm-hmm.
That's my usual takeaway from junior action in All Japan. This match should be great. I don't know how much of you've seen from Musashi outside of like the New Japan tags that he's done recently.
Yeah.
He's very good. He left Michinoku Pro after a bunch of years, and he's seemingly settling in with All Japan. For at least now, I don't think he signed, but that's where he settled in. This has a good chance to be like one of the better junior matches of the year, I think, in wrestling, if like they reach their full potential. So I'm very excited about it. I think it's a great first challenger for Hayato, who should not be losing the title. I would be very angry if he did, because I do like him a lot. But I am looking forward to this because he rules. You know, Hayato's the man. This is one of the guys, you know.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I'm just saying they should be all in on him.
I was going to say that my one concern about Musashi coming in is that he's sort of coming in as like an outsider invader kind of type, you know, coming from Michinoku Pro, kind of coming from New Japan this past 2023. Yeah. So there's that sort of invader idea that makes me feel like him beating Hayato is certainly plausible.
For sure. But, I am a little worried about that. But it should be a good match, and ultimately that's what I'm hoping for. But I think Hayato should overcome, but I definitely get your concern because it's definitely there for me too.
Yeah. We got a All Japan World Tag Team title match. Hideki Suzuki and Suwama defending their titles against the Saitos.
Get the title back.
Was it Ray is officially back and in Champion Carnival, by the way. But continue.
Yeah, who they had on the other side?
Of the Champion Carnival?
Yeah.
I got to look up. I don't remember who they added. I'm looking up now. But go ahead. What are your thoughts on this tag title match as I look this up?
Get the titles back on the boys. That's my take on this title match. Get the titles back on the... Who is it?
I totally forgot who they added. Davey Boy Smith Jr.
Oh, Harry Smith. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting. I won't rule out, like, I think he could have some good matches with certain people.
If I recall correctly, he was supposed to be in Champion Carnival a couple years ago. I think 2020 is when he was supposed to be in it.
Okay. And then COVID.
And then for obvious reasons, it didn't happen.
Yeah. All right. I don't mind that.
Yeah. If he's doing his MLW gimmick where he's just like a no nonsense, like brawler kind of guy, I'm interested in that.
Good matchups for him.
Yes.
But
especially in Block A. Especially in Block A.
You're right. Get the belts back on the Saitos. I do not really like the Suwama Hideki combo at all. I think Suwama is much more interesting by himself, and I don't like Hideki all that much. Play is simple.
Yeah, I'm intrigued, especially since all 4 of these guys, I believe, are on the same block. In Block B,
all the Saitos in one block.
Yes, I believe they have.
They're good. I like them, so that's okay.
And Suwama and Hideki Suzuki. So I think if anything, you know, whether or not there be a title switch, I will also enjoy if there's a title switch. But whether or not there is one, there are certainly going to be Champion Carnival ramifications, maybe, you know, since all 4 of these guys are in the same block.
I would just give them the titles back because I don't think it's supposed to end.
Yeah, yeah, especially knowing that the titles didn't go on Kento Miyahara and Yuma Aoyagi.
Yeah,
It definitely felt like, okay, the title reign wasn't supposed to end, and
right.
then maybe that because I guess otherwise there would be the argument that the Saitos still have the titles, and then Suwama and Hideki Suzuki win the titles here
Sure.
before going to the Champion Carnival. That's plausible. So
Mhm.
maybe they retain here. I don't know.
Yeah. I just like that Saitos were unbeatable, and I
Yes.
kind of want that to stay that way for now.
I can agree with that. And then your main event, Katsuhiko Nakajima defending the main event, the Triple Crown title for his 5th defense against Yuma Anzai.
I'm gonna jump out of my chair when Yumanza hits the first big knee. I'm gonna leap out of my chair. I'm like, yeah, here we go. This is gonna be fantastic. I don't know. Yuma Anzai is so special.
Mhm.
He is leagues above like anyone with his experience. And there's a lot of good rookies out there these days, but Yuma Anzai is so good. And you and me talked about this when it was announced. Besides Kento Miyahara, Yuma Anzai feels like the one guy that could beat Nakajima. Right? And I think that's going to be the beauty of this match. I don't expect him to win,
No.
but it's the potential of that. It's the excitement of him closing in before Nakajima probably like knocks his lights out or something. This is the match that Nakajima's reign needs for me.
Mhm.
And I think it's going to be fantastic. I really do. Like, I have so much belief in this match. I have so much excitement for this match. This feels like the perfect match to push All Japan into the carnival as well. Like, raise excitement levels heading into their big tournament. Should be great. Should be great. Shout out to Yuma Anzai. That is one of the best in terms of especially his experience levels. Very excited.
Yeah, at like we talked about this a little bit last week, where at best I don't expect Yuma Anzai to win. I would be shocked if he won. He'd be, I believe, the youngest champion in the history of the Triple Crown. Um,
Yeah.
I would be sort of shocked for him to get that win. I don't think he would. So at best, I think we're going to get a showcase match. And look, it's Nakajima, who's been doing great stuff in All Japan, a massive boon to All Japan, especially in their attendance. I can't expect this to not be a really good showcase match for Yuma Anzai, a guy that needs more feathers in his cap. As he goes into a not great block, but it goes into the Champion Carnival. And, I think at the very least, him showcasing himself here and then going to that sort of block of the Champion Carnival, I think there's potential that he could at least make the finals of Block B.
Yeah.
I think that could be what they're maybe setting up. Maybe he wins the finals and wins the finals of Block B and loses to Kento Miyahara to win the Champion Carnival. I think that's certainly
Mhm.
plausible because ultimately it's like I think Yuma Anzai is potentially close to be a next big star, but he
Yeah.
is still a young guy in their
I
eyes.
mean,
It
he's still
feels
got
like
the black trunks and
exactly.
boots.
And the guy that has to quote unquote finish the story here, obviously, is Kento Miyahara. So I think that is certainly happening this year first. And then maybe we get, I like to imagine Kento Miyahara losing the title to Yuma Anzai. That would be a nice, like, sort of a trade off of ace to ace. But, we'll see. We'll see how that comes out. But I think,
I think,
Kento's got to win it off of Nakajima first. So we'll see how that goes.
yeah, my opinion is it should go Nakajima, Miyahara, Anzai. So makes sense.
And then Davey Boy Smith Jr. And
Listen,
then
listen, it's so far down the road they can have whoever the hell they want beat them.
who knows who else will be in this company. We got 15 minutes left. Maz fan, did either of you watch the Ring of Honor Women's TV tournament? Legitimately, think
I
it's the
did.
best women's tournament in the U.S. I've ever seen. Scotty, go ahead.
I don't know. Well, the Mayon Classic was very good. The original,
Mhm.
the second one was pretty good too. So I don't know if ever, but it was very well done. They set up the finals perfectly, which is Billy and Aminata. I think Billy, like, you and me I feel like we've talked about Billy for so long now. because of like her involvement, obviously, on like what the hell's this thing called? The Collective.
Correct.
She has grown so much, and her being part of AEW / Ring of Honor more, and not just GCW, and getting to do some like Joshi dates and doing all these things has really molded her to be, I think, one of the top, obviously one of the top stars of the future of women's wrestling in the US. And Amina is so good. She's just so good.
Yes.
She's undefeated in Ring of Honor. So while she doesn't win in AEW yet, she's undefeated in Ring of Honor. And her and Red Velvet had a really good match. Red Velvet's also very good. I thought it was a great, well done tournament to get to the finals. Ring of Honor is where women's wrestling lives in the US these days, I think. There's just a lot of good talent that they go in there. Like, you know, you get the Layla Hirsch, obviously Athena at the top, Billy Starks, Red Velvet, Mina Shirakawa.
I mean, to be fair, that is where the Stardom connections have lived. I mean, I wouldn't really count it, but Utami was in there last July.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I wouldn't really count it, but she was there.
She got her taste of the US. Was like, all right, I'm good.
5 months later, okay, I'm out of the company. I can't.
Don't make me do that again. I do want to just quickly talk about Mina on there. Superstar, by the way, just absolute superstar. She did the whole dance and everything, and I was like, she is gonna win so many people over in this next week or two, or however long she's. However many shows she does in the US, she's gonna win people over. She won too, which was nice. I didn't really expect her to lose to Anna Jay, but you know, it's nice to start off, and she main evented the show. So that was cool. My one takeaway was like, I need Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman on the call for every Stardom wrestler that walks into the US, because like they know everything, and they're so like, Ian Riccaboni is like, you know, that beautiful wonder of Stardom Championship, and just talking up all these things, and they're talking about Empress, Nexus, Venus, and I'm like, what is happening? I was like, this is crazy. Like, obviously he did his homework. So I just liked that as well. But to the women's tournament, yeah, it was very well done. It's the one thing in Ring of Honor that's like a story, is the women's wrestling part of it. And I hope it stays that way when Athena moves on, which could be as soon as Supercard of Honor. I just hope it keeps up. I'm going to assume it does, because Sheeta's champion. She's going to be a major part of it.
Yeah.
But like, keep going with it. It's worth watching. It's like the only thing I ever watch from Ring of Honor TV these days. It's definitely the best women's tournament they've done in a long time in the US. I can definitely agree to that. So fingers crossed, a lot of potential in there, and hopefully like that's what they keep doing with the Ring of Honor. You're supposed to bring up these young talents through there and build them up, and then that way when Aminata or Billy or someone goes to AEW, you have stats to reference, like, oh yeah, she was undefeated in Ring of Honor, or she had a blah 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 winning percentage, or she was this champion. Like, that benefits them, and I hope they kind of realize that for everyone eventually, because otherwise Ring of Honor is just dark for the men's side of things with titles.
And I'll tell you much, being in Duluth and seeing those Ring of Honor's tapings, the men's side of things is just dark. It's all it is. I mean, they're slowly building up like Lee Johnson, but it's like still Big Shotty Lee.
Big Shotty was great in that match that they had that time at the last pay-per-view that I don't remember the name of.
Big Shotty was great in that match.
The one that Fletcher won. The one that Fletcher won.
Yes, he was really good.
I love that match. They should do that again.
The Fletcher, I don't think is currently primed up for anything.
What the hell is he doing?
Supercard of Honor. So hey,
they're gonna put him against some freak.
Yes. Not really a question, Connor, but I presume this is the question asking for a preview of Tokyo Joshi Pro Grand Princess. Now, we haven't been talking about Tokyo Joshi Pro, but that is because when I look back at our promotions to discuss, we did write that we would maybe talk about a lot of things are coming due. We said that we would talk about NXT till WrestleMania, So that would be next week. And we would also say we would potentially talk about Tokyo Joshi Pro this year after Grand Princess. So looking at the lineup for Grand Princess, Scotty, this is a fast, quick preview, I guess, of this card. But looking at the lineup of Grand Princess, how confident are you in that we will be super interested in this promotion after the fact, or do you have some concerns about this card?
I
mean,
there's some things that are really good on the show.
Yeah, we got some title matches. International Princess title match, Yuki Arai versus Yuki Kamafuki. We have Princess Tag Team title match.
I'm not excited about that.
Princess Tag Team title match, Yuki Aino and Ryo Mizunami versus Daisy Monkey.
That should be very good. And the world title match should be great.
An old classic, it feels like here. A Princess of Princess title match, Miyu Yamashita versus Miyu Watanabe.
That should be excellent. Also, Rika Tatsumi versus Masha Slamovich should also be excellent.
Yes.
Which is kind of hidden on the card. Minoru Suzuki's on this card.
Yes, we also have 3 matches that look crazy to me. Minoru Suzuki versus Maki Ito in a singles match. Max the Impaler and Aja Kong versus Hyper Masao and Shoka Nakajima. Let me guess who's winning this one. And then tag team match. Chris Brooks and Emi Sakurai versus the Magical Sugar Rabbits, I should say, Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki.
Yuka's already back.
Yuka's already back. What is
a great graduation.
What is this company?
That should be good, actually. I think
hold on. Also, I'm noticing that Andres and Giant Panda's also on this card.
Freaking pandas on the show.
God damn.
With TJPW comes a mixed bag. And this show is a mixed bag. I think the main event will be great. I think Rika and Masha will be great. Everything else will either be good or I wish I didn't watch that.
This show, to me, when I look at this card,
is the ultimate TJPW card.
This gives us like DDT energy to me in this card of just like, well, I mean, there's some stuff I could sink my teeth into based on what I enjoy, and then there's like a lot of stuff that's just like, whoa, hold on, this match is happening, and then there's stuff that's like, oh, I'll get that away from me. I don't know. I mean, you follow Joshi more than me. Like, I'm looking at this. I'm like, there are things on here that are eye-catching, like Suzuki in here, like Chris Brooks and Ami Sakurai versus the Magical Sugar Rabbits. Like Aja Kong just showing up interests me. Breaking news?
Yeah. Killer Kelly staying with TNA. Anyways. I just had to get him good. Yeah, what was your question? I broke him.
I thought they were losing a major star.
Nope, she's staying. They kept one.
So their contract was up. No one gave Colin. And she's like, fine, I'll take the paper deal dates.
No, she's supposedly under contract till August 2025.
What? So that report doesn't.
Yeah, they said finished up as in she's taking a break for now.
I see.
Her Fightful Select.
Interesting.
Sorry to get your hopes up, Ryan.
Darn. I wanted to see her show up and face Mercedes Moné. I want to see her show up at WrestleMania and take on Jade Cargill, SmackDown wrestler Jade Cargill. Darn. You know the WWE fans, especially those Rhea fans, would have loved seeing Killer Kelly.
I hate you.
Grand Princess. Tokyo Joshi Pro Grand Princess. Any other thoughts about this? I'm not much of a preview. We were prep for a preview, but
it is a TJPW card. You're gonna get some good, you're gonna get some not so good.
What's the match to watch? Beyond the
main event.
Yeah, beyond the main event, what's the match to watch?
One of the greatest matches in TJPW history is those two head to head. So it should be great. I want to get my hopes up that it's the crowning moment of Miyu Watanabe because this company is one of a kind. It should be though. Minoru Suzuki versus Maki Ito. I have no idea what I'm gonna be watching there, but it's gonna be something. And Rika Tetsumi versus Masha Slamovich should legitimately be great. That when Masha was announced for the show, I said this needs to be the match, and it was. So fingers crossed that it's very good when it's all said and done. But yeah, we are in an interesting interesting spot these days.
By the way, I'm looking at just X Twitter real quick, which, by the way, I don't know why, but it says X, but then my URL says twitter.com.
Yeah, mine too.
I see an hour ago, just because of how the algorithm loads, report Killer Kelly no longer TNA Wrestling from Wrestling Observer. And then literally the tweet underneath it 11 minutes ago, Fightful Select, Killer Kelly is still in TNA. She's under contract until summer of 2025.
That is the ultimate up and down road for my friend Ryan here.
It's tough being a Killer Kelly fan. It's tough, Next week, we will be here talking about WrestleMania weekend and all of the shows that are involved on Saturday, probably 6 p.m. on Saturday of next week. So
Saturday.
Stay tuned for that, folks. Before we get there, match of the week, Scotty. What is a match that we did not talk about this past this show that we would like to shed a light on? Whether it be something old or new. What is something that you watched in the past week?
I would like to stress real quick that I really want there to be no wrestling.
Save the wrestling news for later.
Yeah, my match of the week is Tam versus Julia. We never talked about the full show, I realized until right now. It's going to be a match that people either love or hate, period. And the story. That's how these two work. That's how Tam works. But my favorite part about this match is that it was everything that this feud has been. Overly dramatic, brutally physical, kind of messy at times, but also just it was great. Neither of them wanted their rivalry to end. I loved it. And I think if you have watched their feud all the way through, then you should definitely watch this. It was a good way to cap it all off. And you can follow me at Scotty Wrestling on Twitter. I will also be recording Stardom Road for Tuesday soon, some maybe tonight, hopefully. If not tonight, then we are going to go up against the buzzer. But we're just going to be talking about the US shows from Stardom's past. So just kind of a general episode talking about how those have gone, what they usually look like, and kind of getting us prepped for the next one, which is in 2 weeks. So fun little episode if you want to check that out on Tuesday.
My match of the week is going to be main event and the first 5 minutes, I guess, of Rampage, main event of Dynamite this past Wednesday, and that was the I Quit TNT title match between Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, the culmination of their history together. I thought it was really well done. They had the hockey fight in the penalty box. They had Christian running into the women's bathroom during the commercial picture-in-picture break. I sat there thinking after the fact that what made this great is that it was so silly and so fun that it was great and it was well done and well put together. Because it had that history and everything, but also I had the realization that I was like, I think Christian and like Adam Copeland more so, but like they have moments where they delve into the seriousness, but they also have moments that delve into camp. And there was moments in this match, like the fighting in the penalty box, taking jerseys from people. Like it just felt very like humorous, that it like kind of like dumb humor that worked really well. And I think that's something that both of them can do at times really well. And here, I think it worked. I think it nailed between the two of them. So I definitely would like to see. Well, I don't know if I'd like to see more of that per se, because it could be diminishing returns very quickly with camp. But I'm intrigued to see where it goes forward with both of them. Adam Copeland, I think, will be defending that title to a bunch of young guys probably, and Christian Cage I don't know. I'm very interested to see where he can go next. Maybe 6-man tag titles. Maybe we get Nick Wayne wrestle some more. I don't know.
Whatever means the tag titles are shaved, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. If we can get these tag titles off of somebody, then I would be intrigued about that. Jesus Christ! I just realized that you could easily set up a Christian Cage acclaimed gimmick feud, and I don't. And it's very obvious why you could set that up, but I don't know if that's the. I guess if it's approved by the people involved, then you could do it. But I just realized that it's right there, and I don't know if I think I want to take that back. Personally, it might draw the line, but I'm just realizing now that there is a feud built up between the Acclaim and the patriarchy. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyways, that's it for match of the week. That's all I have. I'm gonna think about that for the next hour. My plugs. I recorded the new episode of The Ballot. I haven't edited it yet, but supposedly it will come out either tomorrow on patreon.com/countoutpod. If I don't get it edited fast enough, then potentially Tuesday. It is an episode talking about the Hall of Fame case with Kento Miyahara. And I can say that the guest on this show is Gerard DiTrolio from Emerald Flow Show. He came in and we talked about Kento Miyahara for an hour or so. So if you are intrigued about that, if you're intrigued about hearing Gerard DiTrolio, then why not sign up for patreon.com/counterpod, or at the very least, you can sign up and do the free 7-day trial to sign up now. We have other 2 episodes obviously already out. Suit Williams and I talking about the Usos, and Curtis from the now rebranded Ichiban Sweetcast talking about Zack Sabre Jr. So we got the first 3 episodes of The Ballot already out. Well, 2 of them already out, and the 3rd one coming out very, very shortly. So stay tuned for that. Follow us on Twitter or X at Ryan Knightsey, at Scott E Wrestling. Follow the whole network at Count Out Pod. Listen to all the shows, not just Ring Post Radio, but listen to Ichiban Sweetcast, Your Dose of Death, and Scotty's Stardom Road. And subscribe to the podcast wherever you get more. Subscribe to the YouTube if you want to see more. And make sure you watch the live shows with us, typically every Sunday, even though we'll be on Saturday this upcoming episode. But make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to get that notification of when we're officially starting and whatnot on Saturday. I guess until next week, we have a major show. We will see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.